Welcome to Dark Knight Films Reviews and another Hammer Productions night. Tonight, I will be reviewing Captain Kronos, Vampire Hunter, released in 1974, written and directed by Clemens, starring Horst, Janson, John Cater, Caroline Munro, John Carson, Shane Briant, Lois Daine, Wanda Ventham, Ian Hendry, William Hobbs, and Paul Greenwood. Now, this film was supposed to start a series of new films for Hammer, but they started having financial difficulties and ended up shutting down before they could end up doing any sequels to this film. And that's a shame, because this one is very interesting. And I think, don't quote me on this as being a fact, but I think that elements of this story were taken by the Japanese animation film Vampire Hunter D. The character of Captain Kronos, as played by Horst Janson, is a very cool character, much like the character in Vampire Hunter D, as we would see later. He doesn't dress exactly the same as that character, but you can see the similarities in just the way the character behaves and is as a character. I believe what they might have done was merged Captain Kronos with the Professor Harmonious Roast, played by John Cater, to create D with the talking hand in that story. But I don't have any proof that that is a fact, that they really did that, but there's a lot of similarities. I noticed that whenever I first watched this film, and I had seen Vampire Hunter D prior to this. So, seeing this film, I was like, immediately watching it, and I was like, man, this feels like a live-action version of Vampire Hunter D in a way. So, don't know if that's a fact, but it really does feel like it when you watch it, you know. But like I said, Horst Janson is really good as Captain Kronos. John Cater is pretty good as Professor Harmonious Roast.
Their methods and their motive for attack can vary in 100 different ways.
In Caroline Munro, gorgeous as ever, as Carla is great in here.
So much bitterness. So much. Why?
Shane Briant, this was the first thing I had seen him in, and I wasn't really impressed with his performance in this one. He plays Paul Durward, and he works with Lois Daine as Sarah, his sister, in here. She's okay, but him, I just wasn't a fan of his performance in this one. Now, later films, I did grow to appreciate his performances, but this one I don't think was one of his best. Wanda Ventham as Lady Darward was a pretty good little villain in here. I really enjoyed her performance in here, especially the scene which she comes up on Caroline Munro's Carla while she's sleeping on the couch, and she ends up hypnotizing her and is going to basically sacrifice her to her lover, William Hobbs as Hagen.
Her life will be yours. Yours. Her youth will pulse through your veins, my darling. Replenishing. Restoring. Take her. Take her.
But this is just a really great vampire film. Great performances, well directed by Briant Clemens, and this was his only film that he ever directed. He was a great writer for Hammer, but this was his first attempt and only attempt at directing. And that kind of sucks, because I really thought he did a good job on this. So it's a shame that he chose to just give up directing, after this film. But overall, I think Captain Kronos, Vampire Hunter, is a very unique and interesting vampire film. There is one thing, though, that I do not like that happens near the end. And that is when Captain Kronos is facing off with Lady Darwin. And she attempts to try to hypnotize him, like she had just previously done to Caroline Munro's character of Carla. And he takes his sword and raises it up above his eyes to cover his eyes. And there's like a mirror on his sword. And it reflects her reflection back to her, and she ends up hypnotizing herself. That should not be possible, as she is a vampire, and she shouldn't cast any reflection on that sword. So, cool idea of reversing the hypnosis from a vampire on them, but it can't be done because they don't cast a reflection. And yet she casts a reflection in the mirror there. So that was kind of wonky. I didn't like that. But overall, this film is a great Hammer vampire film. If you have not seen it, please seek it out. My final review on this one, I'm going to give this film a 8.9 out of 10. Very good and very underrated Hammer Productions film. But what do you think of this film? Have you seen it? If you have, let me know in the comments down below what you thought of it. And as usual, if you enjoyed this video, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't click that bell icon so you can be notified about future videos just like this one. And while you're by the subscribe button, click that join button. Become a Dark Knight fan.
Well, that's it for another Hammer Productions night. If you missed last week's Hammer Productions night, check out the link up here to get caught up on that one. Or if you missed any of the other Hammer Productions night, be sure and check out the playlist right here to get caught up on any of them that you have missed.